I was asked to make some Japanese milk bread, and in my research to find it, I found condensed milk bread, which I made and my children fell in love with. So we're going to make it again. We're going to start with a packet of yeast in my mixing bowl, 40 grams of sugar, which is a little less than 1/4 cup. And then I need 260 grams of warm milk, which is sitting on my stove. So it's not boiled, it is just warm. Whoa. Good enough. It's 261. It'll survive. So we're going to let the milk and the yeast and the sugar combine for about 5 minutes until it gets nice and foamy, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. So our yeast and sugar and milk mixture is foamy. So now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. It's 400 grams of bread flour. Bread flour is important. 6 grams of salt. 40 grams of softened butter, and 60 grams of condensed milk. And once this is all in the bowl, we're going to head on over to our mixer with our dough hook and mix this all together. So I have all my ingredients in my mixing bowl, my dough hook in. We're going to turn this on, mix it together. I've got a little extra bread flour sitting here just in case it's too sticky, so we want it to be able to roll into a ball. Does not look like that's going to be a problem today. No, it is a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to add just a couple tablespoons of bread flour. What I want. Some of the dough is going to stick to the bottom, but I want it to be able to come off the dough hook pretty easily. And there we are. So what I'm going to do now is put this, I have a greased bowl. We're going to put this in and then cover it with saran wrap and let this dough rise for the next hour. So our condensed milk bread has risen. Now we're going to make the filling. It is 40 grams of softened butter and 40 grams of condensed milk. And we are just going to mix it together until it forms a paste. Like that. And then we are going to, I bake it in a pie plate. You can do it in a bread pan. I just like the way it looks in the pie plate. And I'm going to grease my pie pan. If I am ever on a deserted island and someone asks me what is the one thing I will wish for every day, it is pan grease. It has saved many a recipes, many a cake. There is a recipe for this and a video to show you how it's done because it is the most simple thing that I make. I think it's the most simple. So just grease the pan and then set it in front of us. I'm going to get a little bit of bread flour for my cookie, for my cutting board. Okay, I'm going to take half of the risen dough. I'm going to roll it out. into this rectangle. We're going to cut, first we're going to spread half of this mixture on it, your condensed milk and butter. You want to get it on every little piece. Then we're going to cut it into 4 strips. 1, 2, 3. You know what? We're going to do 5 today, because that's just how I'm feeling. Stack them on top of each other, like so. And then we're going to cut into 8 pieces here. Now we're going to arrange these any way you like, just make it look pretty, however that works for you, in here. And then we're going to do the same with the other half of the dough, and we're going to let it rise another 40 minutes. As you can see, moving everything around to make room for the new pieces that we're making. Now we're going to cover this with saran wrap, let it rise another 40 minutes, and then we'll pop it in the oven. So our condensed milk bread has spent the last 40 minutes rising. It is ready to go. The last finishing touch is some slivered almonds that we're just going to sprinkle over the top. Then we're going to put this in a 300-degree oven and bake for about 35 minutes or until it's nice and golden brown. So our condensed milk bread is out of the oven, and the last and final step before we let it cool and cut into it is to sprinkle with powdered sugar. Now, you can lightly sprinkle, or like our family, you can make it look like it's snowing. And we're done.